Hi everybody, it's Az here with AZCast number 8. I think we're getting the numbers right now. Yeah, kind of.
I think so. At some point, I'm going to run out of fingers.
I'm going to guess at 11. It's just a hunch that I've got. I'm your host, obviously, Az, and my co-host, as always, is Zerg. How you doing, Zerg?
Not too shabby yourself.
Yeah, not bad. This is actually, normally, should we let them in on the secrets? We always let them in on the secrets.
Yeah, it's fine.
Normally we record this on a Thursday night. I edit it, goes up on a Friday. It's Friday morning.
Yeah.
It's 8:30 a.m. And we're going to record this. So it's actually the correct day. It is June the 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to lie.
Well, we don't have to lie anyway, but...
Well, we don't. But we pretend we lie. But we tell them. Whatever. Now, we've had some very, very long AZCasts recently. What with EA? I was going to say, I was just looking at my pussy, and then your pussy comes along. We've had some very long AZCasts recently with EA and all manner of shenanigans going on. So, normally, folks, this is how we do it. I inform Zerg of what we're talking about. So, he's got time to prepare, and then we have our chat. Today, I haven't told you diddly shit about
in the words of Illidan, I am not prepared.
You are not prepared. Because I really want to keep this down to roughly an hour today. You know, if not 45 minutes, that'd be lovely.
See what he's doing there? He's keeping all the information to himself, so it keeps me quiet, so we get a shorter podcast. I see your game.
I think some people actually disagree with that. They're like, oh God, Az is waffling again. Oh my God. So I have some topics here, and then if we're scooching near to that hour mark, then I'm gonna, pretend that we didn't get to one.
Yeah.
But we've got some interesting stuff to talk about today. In actual fact, there is a theme this week. You'll never guess what the theme is.
People being dicks.
Game publishers being dicks. That is actually I did let him in on that. I'm giving all the secrets out. I did let him that. Yeah, there is a theme running through today's topics of conversation. Oh, Lulu's so gorgeous, and it is that game developers really are dicks, or game publishers, I should say. Sorry, devs. No, game publishing companies really are made up of a big sack of dicks. So, first of all, before we get onto the dicks, let's just get on to the what I would personally call ridiculous. We'll have to see what you think. And also, in the comment section, this is going to be quite an interesting one, I think, for people to have a possible chit-chat about. Gaming disorder has now officially been classed as a mental illness.
That's news to me.
So, gaming disorder has now been classified as a mental disorder. Game addiction, stuff like this. It's now been officially recognised as a mental illness. First of all, I'm just going to grab because I've dropped this on you like a...
Okay. A ton of bricks, yep.
What are your initial reactions to that?
It's very subjective, isn't it? It really does depend on who's supposed to be. I would say just the age of the person who may be addicted to the gaming, but it's all situational to the person's living situation, or the way that they've. It's a hard one. Personally, I feel it's a hard one.
I think what you're trying to say is about social economic group and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, this is. Oh, God. I mean, I personally think this is a little bit ridiculous.
No, I agree.
Personally, I think this is a little bit ridiculous. There are... Because if you're going to class gaming as, gaming disorder as a mental illness, and by gaming disorder, I think they are, referring to game addiction, stuff along these kinds of lines. Really, you could do the same for virtually anything.
Well, that's it. I was
class Warhammer collection as a mental illness because people get hooked, like me, on buying plastic crack.
It's no difference to... I was talking about it to someone else the other day, actually, because they asked me about it. because they have no gaming backgrounds whatsoever. And so, well, what's your feeling? So we'll look at it this way. The simplest way I can put it is that gaming is a form of media. You consume it of some sort, whether you are playing competitively, whether you enjoy the stories, or you love playing multiplayer, as in like co-op stuff. No different to picking up a book or reading a movie. If you're a movie fanatic, you watch movies all the time. If you love books, you collect books. So what's the difference?
Well, I personally don't read movies. I watch them, but you know.
So, you know,
I'm just a weirdo myself.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the subtitles, like I say.
Oh man. The Last Jedi fucking sucks.
I've only been up an hour. Leave me
it's 8:30 in the morning, folks. You gotta give us some leeway here.
But yeah, when you put gaming in next to books and other kinds of media, whether you watch TV, you like your dramas, they're not considered an addiction. So why?
Well, number one, I think there is again in the year of our Lord 2018, we are back into the 1990s where we have a media hunt for gaming.
Yes,
gaming is bad. Gaming is a disease. I could go around killing prostitutes. No, you chose to actually go.
It's a load of rubbish.
So I think we're on a little bit of a witch hunt again in the gaming industry. The gaming industry. This is right. Okay. Woo! Okay, we're really going to break this down because this is actually going to merge into another topic of conversation. The next point that we're going to go into, but these going to slightly blur for a moment. This is what happens, I believe, when the gaming industry, EA, I'm looking at you. When the gaming industry does something so egregious that it catches the public eye. And of course, what EA did with Star Wars Battlefront is they couldn't help themselves with their greed. They thought, oh, do you know who's got money? Do you know who consumes a lot of media? Star Wars fans. They watch the films, they buy the books, they play the games, they buy the toys, you know. They purchase all these different kinds of media. Do you know who'd be a great target audience to suck dry of cash? Star Wars fans. So with Battlefront 2, they have this loot box system, of course, which is pay to win. But of course, we're talking about Star Wars here. We're talking about a beloved franchise. And so it explodes, and it explodes on a global scale. And the regular media pick up on it. So, you know, Star Wars fans, let's face it, quite a passionate bunch of people, as we've seen in recent times. And they have now, you know, the frustration and the ire of the community has been floundered out. So when you put something egregious like that, especially from a gaming company, right into the public eye, then you're asking for trouble. And this is what you get, folks. This is what you get. You now start to get witch hunts again, because the mass media are now looking for excuses to have a go at the gaming industry again. Politicians are looking at excuses to blame, you know, probably mass murders in schools. Let's just use that for an argument, shall we? Mass murders in schools. Oh, how can we link this back to gaming now? You know, it's a great way to deflect from proper issues with gun control and all this kind of stuff. No, I'm not getting political here, people. All right? So, you know, just calm down on your fucking cat memes. On the typewriters, all right. It's just a fact, all right. You know, so they're looking at different ways to shift political hotspots onto something else. A great thing to blame is gaming. It's been the same case for 25 years now, or you know, I can remember this going back into the 90s. You know, anything that we can find to blame on gaming, we'll blame on gaming. And what I find quite hilarious about this you know, mental illness and gaming disorder business is we've had a lot of sensational headlines this week. One of them I unfortunately laughed my ass off at because it was just so ridiculous. Child, 10 years old, so addicted to gaming that he didn't go to the toilet and his bowels exploded or something. I don't fucking know. And then you read the actual story, and it's actually about parents' neglect. And his father's just like kind of like playing games all the time, and his father's just like making the kid play, allowing the kids to play games all the time. So it's actually not a gaming thing; it's a parental neglect thing, and its parents. And again, there was another story recently about mother doesn't know what to do, son addicted to Fortnite. Do you know what you do? You take his fucking PC off him.
That's it.
You take his PC off him. You're taking his gaming console off him. You password it if it's one for the family that he doesn't know. You put parental controls on the console. You lock him out. That's how you stop it. It's just like, it's not fucking rocket science here. It's just any excuse to blame the game. Sorry, no, I'm going on.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I will let you get a word in edgewise.
I completely agree with you, dude. To be honest.
But it's like, and a lot of this is just parental neglect. A lot of this is bad parenting. Just letting the kids get away with murder, and you could switch gaming for anything. It could be fucking crack, it could be fucking drugs, it could be women, it could be prostitute, whatever. It could be any old thing that they're up into. It's just that it just so happens that the hotbed of conversation. And whenever you see a game like Fortnite discussed in the mass media, it's wickedly addictive. Fortnite is so addictive. I like Fortnite. I like Fortnite. I tried to get you to play it with me. You played it with me for a little bit. You still don't like it.
I did.
Whatever.
I did.
Right. And I like it as a game. Is it a wickedly addictive game? I mean, it's a fun game.
Yeah.
Sorry, I will now. Sorry, I had to get my rant out.
It's fine.
The rant was in. The rant is now out. So, sorry, you go ahead, mate.
Right, going back to the parental thing. I've been playing games since I could hold a Game Boy. All right? We're going back when the Game Boy came out, the brick Game Boy, right? No parental guidance.
I've been playing video games on consoles since the 1980s.
Yeah. I played the Master System. Played the Master System when it came out with Sonic the Hedgehog, BBC and I played the Atari.
Spectrums, Commodores, moving on to Master Systems, Mega Drives.
No parental guidance on those whatsoever, apart from your parents, right? The way my parents taught me to do everything in moderation was to, one, no gaming at the table, because I used to sit at the table back then. So no Game Boy at the table. Fair enough. 2 hours a day on the Mega Drive and the SNES. Well, after I got back from school, that was it. After that, they took the plug away. Why did they take the plug away? Because it doesn't work without it. No passwords, no anything like that. This is parental control. If I'm fine. I love my gaming. I love my books. I love my movies. But everything in moderation.
Movies?
Yeah, I read my movies.
He watches his books.
Yeah, I watch my books. They're all lovely there. Lovely. There are so many ways to control your kids when it comes to gaming or any activity that produces is it dopamine, whatever it is.
Yeah, dopamine is the
happy
drug. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything that creates that.
Food creates dopamine.
Yeah.
Exercise creates dopamine. Multiple different things create dopamine. It's just what is creating the dopamine for you. Yeah,
it's everything in moderation.
Hence and if you can't drug of choice, people. Never mind, dude.
Yeah, so it's just the fact that they say it's a witch hunt. That's all it is. Don't give them reasons. Give them reasons to cover good stuff in gaming. I mean, this week, last 2 weeks, I've been raising money for charity for St. Jude, which is cancer research for children. Because there's so much negative press at the moment when it comes to gaming that is like, no, gaming can do good, and it absolutely can.
This is a well-known tactic, a well-known media tactic. It is complete and utterly about deflection.
Yeah,
that is all this is about. Again, I'm not getting political here. I'm just using it as a fact. This is just a fact, people. Obviously, there's been some horrendous news in America this week with the what are they called, the fucking prison camps for immigrants. And you've got the children ripped away from the parents, and they're in prison camps as well. So you got immigrants and you got children in fucking prison camps. And like I said, we're not getting political. We're just saying some facts here. That's just a fact, people. And then what happens? A member of the White House wears something ridiculously controversial, it pulls all the media onto what they were wearing. It takes the media off the hotbed topic of conversation. That is just an example, people. I'm not being political. So this is a very well-known media tactic. If there's a hotbed topic of conversation that people don't want you to be focusing on, you move it to something else. You latch onto something else. The person within that bed that they don't want fucking with, they go and do something else dumb, and it pulls all the attention over, and this bit starts to get neglected. When it gets neglected, it goes out the public eye, and the way that we consume media nowadays, it becomes, it starts to diminish from the public eye. We're not registering anymore. With gaming disorder being classified as a mental illness, I think it's going to be a great opportunity to gain more leverage against gaming, and potentially put more strict and stringent things in place to prevent some really creative games.
Yeah.
And especially when gaming, part of gaming and part of the beauty of gaming is choice, and allowing you choice to do what you want to do. Number one, just because you have a choice, it doesn't mean the choice is right.
No.
It plays a nice little moral game with you. And number two, you choose to do something. I don't know if there is a game out there that is actually actively encouraging you to kill prostitutes or something like that. No, if you run over a prostitute in GTA, it's because you've wibbled off the road and you've whacked out, you've whacked out a pro. It could be a prostitute, it could be a white guy, it could be a black woman, it could be any. You chose to veer off the road and wipe out whoever that you wiped out. That is just the nature of driving. What do you want? Do you want fucking kiddie rails going across all the pavements? That's sidewalks for Americans. Pavement areas so you can't get up. Well, this is. I know this isn't what games are like, and I know this is not what roads are really like, but but for the sake of not being able to do this, we're going to turn it off for you. So I think it could. I'd hate to see games like GTA, and GTA's always been a hotbed of controversy, and and the gaming industry does take that and it runs with it in certain instances. But when you start getting some legitimate classification, then that's when you can really start fucking with shit. And I'm not a fan of gaming disorder being classified as a mental illness. I think it's totally incorrect. I think it is more to do with parental. It's more to do with socio and economic, just like most things in life.
Well, here's one for you. I wonder how you feel about it. Looking on the positive side of it, for people who do have addictive personalities, and they do use gaming for that, where would you put that?
Somebody who's got an addictive personality. I think I've got an addictive personality. When I latch onto something that I'm really into, then I kind of throw myself into it, regardless of what it may be.
Yeah.
Whether it is playing a video game. If I pick up God of War and I'm really liking God of War, I'll be into that. I'm currently collecting Warhammer and painting my Warhammer. I'm into it. I'm really into it. The same if you go out to the gym. If you keep going to the gym, then it can become very addictive indeed, because you get the dopamine release.
Yeah.
But you can also translate this to many negative situations. Alcohol, gambling. All these things can be seriously, do exactly the same thing. If you have an addictive personality, it doesn't matter if you're playing a game or riding a bike. That is a part of your makeup of your personality. So to condemn the bike because the person has an addictive personality is just in my eyes as stupid as this, blaming the game because of the person. Because it wouldn't matter if there was gaming or what. They would be their issue would be carried on to something else, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Negative or positive. That's the way it would be. And and like I said, I think a lot of this from so much when you read these articles, parents have got to buck the fuck up. They do. They got to buck up. The way that they seem to let their kids get away with murder.
Do you feel that? Do you feel that's because of the limitations that parents now have, or do you think it's just lazy parenting?
No, I think it's just bad parenting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a father, although you should get DNA tested, people, because it's probably your dad. I'm not a father, right? But you know, Kelsey Priest, you have been in rather a lot of family situations before, and parenting and has a huge effect on how the person turns out. And if you are a parent that, you know, sure, if you want to give your kids leeway as a parent to, you know, to make mistakes, to learn from mistakes, things like that, nothing wrong. You know, I've seen some very good sort of like offhand parenting where they allow their kids the opportunity to, you know, to make mistakes. They allow their kids the opportunity to fail. And then learn from it and always be there for them.
Yeah.
But to learn from it and class it as life experience. And I've, you know, seen situations and been in situations where you have very dominantly commanding parents. But your parental structure, the family, the home, has a massive effect on how things will develop within you as a child, you as an individual. And if these parents are just allowing their kids to, you know, if put it this way, if I had a teenage kid, and I'm old enough to easily have a teenage kid, I'm old enough to have a kid in the 20s, but fuck that. If I had a teenage child, let's say just for argument's sake, they were 16 years old, and they was just spending, you know, they were spending all their time in the room on their computer. Let's say I got them a, you know, computer, games console, whatever, and I heard them playing it at, you know, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., stuff like that. If it was like school night, you know, things like that, then I would address it. I'd say, look, you know, I ain't got any problems with you playing on your computer console. I'd rather, you know, you go outside and play with your friends a bit more, but whatever. You know, I ain't got a problem with you playing on your computer console, but, you know, you got to do your homework. That's got to be done. You got to make sure your chores around the house are done, so you get your pocket monies, whatever. And at 10 o'clock at night or whenever, you know, it goes off, and you go to bed. And if these rules aren't adhered to, then it gets taken away.
I'm sure you were my father at one point. You sound like my parents. You sound like my parents.
But I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with that, you know.
No.
Because if you demonize the gaming, and you say to the child, right, I heard you up at 1 o'clock in the morning with your games console. Never will you play the games console again. And you demonize it, then they're just going to want to do it more, and they're just going to become more rebellious, and it's going to backfire in your face. Yeah. It's not going to work. So sure, you know, I understand that as somebody who has gamed for, you know, 20, 30 plus years, I understand how fun it can be. And if I have a child that wants to do that, sure. But you do have to put limitations on it. And if as a parent you think it's getting out of control, then it's got to be addressed.
Oh yeah, you can't
just like go running to the Manchester Evening Post or Evening Standard or whatever. One of those, by the way, has one of the worst websites I've ever seen in history. And then start crying, "Oh, my child's addicted to Fortnite. There's nothing I can do." Well, yeah, there is actually. It's called Takeaway's PC privileges. It's called Takeaway's console. You know, lock them away if you have to. And if your kid is like smashing your locks to get his computer thing out, then you've got a brat. You've got an utter shit of a kid, and I don't know how you've been raising it. But yeah, I think I don't think it takes too much genuine thought and consideration to see exactly how damaging this could be.
Yeah.
To be classified as a mental illness, because I think the mitigating circumstances surrounding it are vastly more probably of a conclusive effect to why they are addicted to gaming.
Right.
You know, if your child is constantly in their room playing playing their video games, is it because they're into gaming, or is it because you're constantly fucking shouting with your partner and they just don't want to be part of that situation?
Yeah.
You know, they don't want to hear mum and dad screaming at each other all the time. Is it because one of the parents is neglectful and they don't want to be with that parent because that parent is a neglectful parent? So they find solace in doing something else. They find solace in gaming. And they can connect more with people online. They can socialise with people of their own age groups and their own social economic situations, their own family situations. And therefore they can relate more. Or, as I used gaming, because I came from a very, very poor childhood, I used gaming as pure escapism from the horrors that were kind of going on with me. And gaming was just literally a way for me to transport myself into another environment. So I think there are just way, way, way too many mitigating circumstances to blanket gaming disorder as a mental illness. I think it's dangerous. I think it's weak. And I think it's, to be perfectly honest with you, rather irresponsible. On that note, Detroit Become Human. Oh, okay, I'm joking.
I thought you were going to say God of War.
God of War. No. Anything else you want to add to that, dude, before we move on?
No, I think we covered everything, to be honest. I mean, I could talk for days about this subject because it's just something that, you know, it's personally affected me in the past with mental illness and whatnot, and I use gaming as an escape. So yeah, I can understand the escapism and whatnot, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm still here. I may not be normal.
I'm still here.
But I enjoy what I do. I enjoy my streaming. I enjoy playing my co-op games with you and other people and whatnot. Does it mean I'm addicted? No, I enjoy them though. Gaming can be such a positive thing on people's lives.
Also, I think it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Well, I genuinely think it's a lifestyle. As technology evolves, as humanity evolves, it's a lifestyle. And would I I'd rather be on a game right now than, again,
chatting to me.
I'm talking to you. No, I'd rather be on a game right now than to be honest with you, reading and watching about what's going on in the world right now, because it's just horrific.
No, exactly. I don't watch the news.
I'd rather to escape into a world, a fantastical world, and have a bit of fun, and then come back to reality where all manner of shit's going on. Right, that first topic only took half an hour to go through because we're keeping this below an hour today. Jeez.
Sorry, this is what happens when he thought keeping the schedule away from me was gonna keep it down, but it does.
I think I did a lot of waffling then. Anyway, what I said it bleeds in a little bit into something else.
Yeah.
Is next topic of conversation the Netherlands,
right?
It's Holland for some people. The Netherlands have started from the 20th of June to enforce their loot box ban.
Yes.
And Valve, it was the last day for you to do it on the 20th, otherwise you'd be subject to fines and potential prosecution. So Valve, on the very last day, have now disabled item trading and also Steam Marketplace transfers on Dota and CSGO items. I think other companies have, again, trying to leave it to the last moment to try and get as much money as they possibly can, have also had to follow suit. The fines are pretty high.
Yes.
If you break these laws in Holland, you are susceptible to fines. I'm going to give this in UK pounds. You can convert accordingly to your own your own currency. But in the UK, you could get a fine up to around about £735,000.
A lot of money.
That is a lot, which is approximately $1 million US. I think $1,300 Australian. Kind of along those ish lines of fines. And if they are happy to break it and pay the fine, because obviously they're making so much goddamn money,
that's it.
They are then going to be pushed to prosecution.
Ah.
Good on them.
No, yeah.
Holland, I salute you. I hate loot boxes. I mean, the way that they're going to try and combat loot boxes is they're just going to double down on microtransactions. Like EA. I mean, I sometimes I try and be a nice human being, and sometimes I can't help myself. But EA tweeted out yesterday. They tweeted out, which suit of armor for Anthem are you most looking forward to? And they did a poll and they listed the various suits of armor. And I just replied by saying, the microtransaction ones, which you're going to flood your cash shop with, because you can't put loot boxes into the game. Yeah, I love EA.
You smell that? You smell that BS?
And by love, I mean utterly despise as a company. Needless to say, Andrew Wilson. I tell you what, I know this is a horrible thing to say, but whatever. If I was stuck in a lift with Andrew Wilson, I would probably take my own life. I would. He comes across as the most horrendous human being I'd ever want to be around in the world. Andrew Wilson, CEO at EA, said, "Hey, FIFA loot boxes aren't gambling." So what he's saying, Zerg, just so we're on the same page, because I know you're looking a little confused, bud. You got that little confused.
This is my normal face.
What he's saying is the loot boxes that you can buy in FIFA that don't give you the breakdown of what the percentages is of the drops inside, and also the drops are completely random.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to get Lionel Messi, you might have a 0.0000111 percent, but you'd never know because they don't tell you. But that's not So buying it without any knowledge apparently is not gambling. Andrew Wilson, you need to look into what gambling means. But tough shit. I think FIFA are going to have to. EA are going to have to abide by these rules. Otherwise, they're just going to get fined. Fined. But as we saw from EA last week, we're going to give you what you want in FIFA: more loot boxes. I give up. But this whole loot box fiasco, I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see it getting traction.
Yeah. Same.
I mean, we spoke. This is where it's kind of linking in. We spoke about in the mental, illness section.
Yeah.
We spoke about being, this could lead to potential, stringent controls, which we don't want to see. This is kind of like a flip reverse. These are probably stringent controls that we do want to see. I mean, personally, I would like to see all money orientated additionals removed from gaming, period. Unless you are, for instance, adding an expansion to the game. In which case you are putting a price tag on a brand new set of content. But I am really against cosmetic DLC as well as I am randomized loot boxes. And I know that some people aren't, but this is my rationale behind it. If you're playing a game where you can get cosmetics, one of the most fun aspects of that game is finding or earning the cosmetic. So when you take that from the player, you are essentially taking an enjoyment element and factor away from the people to put it behind a money paywall.
Yeah. Do you know what? In the past, I've been okay with microtransactions when it comes to cosmetic stuff. I've been okay with that because you know what you're buying. But this just made me click. All of a sudden, there's like, hold on a second. Why am I okay with this? Because when I used to play World of Warcraft, when transmogrification came in, I went out and collected the gear that I wanted to. So this is really old gear. What transmog did, you had your top tier gear you're wearing. If you didn't like it, you could go out, find some really old gear, really old stuff from whatever, and you could transmog it. Yeah. So I didn't need to go to the store to go buy that wizard hat that I really wanted, or a robe I really wanted, or the staff I wanted. I could go out and go and get it. Now, did I get it on my first attempt? No, did I not? I had to grind for it. And Yeah, no. Looking at it from that way,
content, you eventually get it. You've
changed my mind on cosmetics now. No, I've never thought of it that way. I have no idea. But if I could do that in Warcraft or any other old game where I got a dye or something like that, where I could change the color of my gear or whatever, that was because I achieved it in game by beating a certain boss a certain way, clearing a stage in a certain time, or just go out and finding it. It's that exploration of RPGs or any open world games that are out there. So why did I think that buying cosmetics is okay? Why is it okay when in the past I could go out and get more from my game without having to drop more money?
One of the fun aspects of a game is getting rewarded for doing something.
Yeah.
But getting a legitimate reward for doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Like in WoW today, I have my issues with the game because I don't find it at all rewarding anymore. Because the rewards are either dull or they're meaningless. Like, epics now, they're so meaningless. Opening a treasure chest, you just get a little bit of gold and maybe a grey item to sell at a treasure vendor, and a blue item that means nothing. It's all meaningless. So when you actually find something that you can wear that looks, that could be cool, that could go towards, some sort of set, or whatever. I think DCU Online actually had a really good customization.
They had a wardrobe, didn't they?
Yeah, it's like a wardrobe. Anything that you found went into the wardrobe. So essentially like the WoW transmog as it is now. But DCU Online had this fucking 5 years ago, whatever. Donkeys years ago. And it was great. It was absolutely great because you always felt when you found something it wasn't meaningless and it was really kind of like good stuff. But the way that cosmetics can be so elaborate, we're just talking about bog standard drops here. But the way that cosmetics can be so elaborate and so amazing, what you tend to find, of course, and this is what we get with the Blizz store with things like mounts. And also, before anyone accuses me of being unfair against Blizzard, I will put Elder Scrolls Online in this. I will put Final Fantasy 14 in this. And before anyone again says, well, Elder Scrolls Online is free to play, well, do you know something? It's very difficult to play that game if you don't sub, because of how important things like the endless crafting bag is. And things like that, which are really, really good. And the fact that if you sub, it unlocks all of the DLC content, which you would have to physically buy. So if you sub to the game, it allows you to do everything great. But you still have all the egregious cash shop stuff on top of that. And it's just, to me, it's just so off-putting. It just really is so off-putting. I'd be like, well, why? I'd rather find these in game. And Final Fantasy 14 is the same. I kind of used to give Final Fantasy 14 a pass because it always makes sure that you've got... some people might disagree. But I've always found with Final Fantasy 14, there is such a diversity in its content. A huge, huge diversity in its content. That I've sort of given it a little bit of a pass. And I have been very kind to it in those regards in the past. But the simple fact of the matter is way too much is going up on there now as well. In terms of just physical items to wear, mounts, etc. And I know we're going slightly off topic, but it kind of is on topic. And the same with World of Warcraft, their cash shop is now just stuffed full of mounts, like 20-odd mounts or something now. It's ridiculous.
Don't forget the pets.
Mounts, pets. They even attempted to do the helmets at first, didn't they? And then that fell by the wayside.
That got absolutely trounced upon, didn't it? But
that could have escalated, easily have escalated. But when in doubt, stick a mount on the cash shop. So these things shouldn't be hidden behind loot boxes. These are things. The reason why we're kind of going a little bit off topic, because these are things, folks, which are getting stuck into loot boxes. These are things which are getting put into cosmetic DLC, cosmetic microtransactions. So I want to see, I'd like to see all of this shit removed. If you've paid for your game, then you deserve to get the content alongside. And if they want to introduce more clothes, more mounts, stuff like that, then put it in the DLC. Put them in a DLC where you're actually bringing out physical content for people to do and charging them appropriately because of it. But yeah, I am all for more legislation against additional fees in gaming, because it's turning the gaming industry into a shithole. It really is. It's just turning into a complete shithole. And I'd like to see... But what is great is there are some developers fighting back. You know, there are some developers who are saying, do you know what? You buy this game, that's what you get. You get this game. Everything and all in the game. And I am loving that, and I am loving those game developers that have got the balls to do so. But when you've got, like, fucking idiots like Andrew Wilson, who is just a fucking idiot, who all his job is to get money.
Give me your wallet.
It's not okay just to make a profit nowadays. You have to make all the profit because we live in a fucked up world. You know, he turning around and saying that the FIFA loot boxes aren't gambling is just mind-numbingly stupid. Anything else you'd like to add to that, Zerg?
No, otherwise we'll go over time.
I'm 40 minutes. That's a 10-minute rant. I'm all over this, but it's not going to be a 45-minute video. Right. So we've gone from the mental health to the game company being dicks with loot boxes. Let's go to Sony. People say, I love Sony. Look at my... Oh, you're such a Sony lover. You're such a Sony lover. You're such a Microsoft hater.
You're a Lego lover. You're a Lego lover. Look at that Lego behind you.
Actually, I got a shitload in the front room right now. I picked up from my mum's that she wanted. Anyway, we don't really discuss that. So let's talk about Sony being a bunch of dicks.
I guess you're going to talk about the people locking their Fortnite's account.
That wasn't planned, people. That wasn't planned. Yeah, absolutely.
I read the gaming news.
This is why it's gaming news, people. No, you're absolutely right, dude. You're spot on. And if you really look into the minutiae of this, it's for no other reason than money.
Yeah.
It's for no other reason than money because the long and the short of it is that Sony... Because, put it this way, right? If I own Fortnite on the Xbox... and I go and purchase a cosmetic from the shop. Now then, folks, before you say, but you just said as, Fortnite's free to play. And this is where we have a grey area in free to play games with microtransactions. But ultimately, you decide what you do. And ultimately, on free to play Fortnite, you can play the game, all weapons, all everything, without having to make any purchases, should you not wish to. So these are now choices based off the fact that the game is free and you're not having to pay for that content.
Yeah. Do you want to support the devs by using the microtransactions? That's your choice.
Yeah, because they're giving you a free game.
Yeah.
And Fortnite's the #1 stream game. And it's probably the #1 game in the world right now.
Yes.
So I haven't had a problem chucking a few quid here and there to Fortnite.
That's fair.
Did it with Smite as well. Because, you know, and stuff like that. Anyway. Is it both high-res studio? No, it's not. High-res is something else. It's Epic, isn't it? Fortnite's Epic.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought for a second it was high-res, but it's not. But yeah, so let's say I had Fortnite on the Xbox, and I decided to buy a costume from the store. Microsoft, Xbox, Xbox, Microsoft, they get a small percentage of that sale. Okay? Epic get a percentage of the sale and probably something else. There's probably another finger in the pie somewhere along the lines. But Microsoft make a little bit of cash. Let's say it's £7 to buy it. Maybe Microsoft make 50p. I don't know. Let's just say for argument's sake, they make 50p. But they definitely make something off of the sale.
Yeah.
Sony don't want you to play your Fortnite character on the PlayStation wearing that item that you bought from the Xbox because they want you to buy it on the PlayStation. And that is actually the only reason why they have locked these accounts.
They want your money.
I think my wallet's empty.
It's the only tenner I've got.
I've got a £5.
Hey, we got money. Take my money.
Money! EA! Oh my God, Andrew Wilson's at my door. He's trying to break in. He says he wants my £5. No, Andrew Wilson, get off my money! Get off my money! Moving on. So yeah, that is the crux of it, though. How shitty is that?
That's pretty shitty.
But the worst thing is, right? The worst thing is about this situation is you don't know until you try and link your Epic account to the Switch. And if you've got a PlayStation 4 account that you're playing, like if I try and link my Fortnite account to the Switch, because it'll have to go through Epic, because it'll recognize that my Fortnite account's from the PlayStation 4, it'll go, sorry. Sorry!
There's no warning in place to warn people about this.
No. So if I want to play Fortnite, I'm now locked out of Fortnite on the Switch. So the only way that I can unlock myself is to create a brand new Epic account, start over from scratch with nothing that I gained from the Plus4.
There's a really easy workaround for this. I don't see why they don't do it, but then obviously I do see why, because everyone wants a piece of the pie. Why don't they just have one store on Epic?
Well,
just buy everything from Epic. That way, when you play your game on a console or any platform, you've still got all your stuff.
Well, technically you are, but it's the console also gets the cut.
Yeah, that's it. They want their cut, don't they?
And they want all the cut. So that is essentially how it is working.
You greedy mother truckers.
Epic own all the items.
Yeah.
But it's the console that you purchase it on that is getting a small cut. And Sony are just like, well, we want all of it.
Could you be any more greedy?
No. Sony, I love you. I think the PS4 is great. You're a set of wankers on this. Absolute set of wankers. It's real poor. It's really, really poor, guys. Really,
we were going in the right direction, having people cross-playing and whatnot, and...
I'll tell you what. I'm going to cheer you up now. Look at this. Look at this guy. That is a Terminator that's turning into a fly.
Terminator turns to
so when this goes on to audio and people can't see, they can only listen to what we're talking about. They'll be like, what the hell is he talking about there?
It's the T-1000 just morphing into a fly. Just think of it that way.
Well, it's a Plague Marine Terminator. But okay. Yeah, it's just awful. Sony.
It's just...
Nil point. It's really... I get really disappointed when I you know, I got a lot of love for Sony in some respects. You know, they're not perfect. But I got a lot of love for the PlayStation and stuff like that. You know, you'll have, because, you know... But this is just not on. This, you know, if this was if this was Microsoft, I'd be ranting and raving. If this was, you know, anything else, this is pathetic. Is the word? It's pathetic. You know, Fortnite is going to make you money, regardless. Just let people play cross-play. You know, just fuck off, Sony. Right, speaking of fucking off, Activision, fuck off. What? Can you guess what we're going to talk about now?
What else has been in the news lately? Gotta say, CoD.
Correct. Have you heard about the season pass debacle?
The one that's like, pay us £1,000. It might as well be.
Is that Drew Wilson again?
Every time we talk about money, he just turns up. It's like
he's sticking his tongue in my letterbox.
To get the full game, you got to pay at least about $100.
$100, yeah. If you want the if you want to play the full game, you have to pay $100, and this is why they're locking all DLC behind the season pass, and you cannot purchase the season pass individually. The only way that you can purchase the season pass currently is through the special edition, the $100 special edition. Now, they have said, I mean, I don't even know why I had a little bit of affliction in my voice there that made it sound as if this was a positive, because it's not. It's Activision. They're a set of utter wankers. They have said, let's just take it back down. They have said that they will put the season pass up individually at some point.
Yeah, when?
No determining date. Whatever. Also, why? You've never have before. You know, why?
Wasn't there reasoning behind it that they didn't want to segregate the community?
Go fuck off.
Wasn't that the shitty reason they gave us?
You're right. Sorry, whenever a game company tries to say something like that, I just hear because I just know bullshit's coming my way.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with that. It's all about trying to get people to spend $100
well, of course,
on CoD.
Well, yeah. But everybody knew what they said at E3. We don't want to segregate the community, so you get everything. Bullshit, you do.
Well, it's not that. It's got nothing to do with segregating the community. Nothing. It's got nothing to do with that whatsoever. They've never had a second thought about it in the past.
No.
You know, CoD sales have been going down in recent times.
Why.
I think the World War II one boosted them back up. But in recent years, CoD sales have been going down. They're just looking at. They know that loot boxes are under threat. You know, the drive with loot boxes. All they're thinking is how can we sell the same game we sell every fucking year because it's CoD. And again, I'll never understand CoD fanatics. I just won't. I'm not having a go at you folks. I just don't understand you. I don't understand why you pay for the same game every year. But you know, whatever. It's your prerogative to do so. Yeah. But you know, all they're wanting is we want $100 for CoD. We don't want $50 or $60. We want $100 for CoD. That's it. That is the only reason behind this. Segregating the community. Fuck off, Activision. fuck. This is another bit. Sorry, sweary wary. This is the gaming industry in a nutshell. They think their audience are just stupid. And they treat their audience like stupid people. Hey, we're the select rich people because we just like make a fuckload of money for the game. You're just a filth. You're just a filth. Stop talking to us like fucking idiots, segregating the community. Oh, fuck off.
I've triggered him again.
I know. But seriously, well, Activision. This is Activision, but EA, you can go fuck yourself as well. Activision, fuck off. Ugh, what's going on with Activision? Everything in every game on their roster is just turning into a pile of shit. You know, kill fucking surprise. Oh, Lulu, that was awesome. Do it again, Lulu. Do it again, Lulu. Do it again. Yes. Isn't that the most adorable thing you've ever seen in your life? And if you listen to this just on audio, sometime in the future, you'll be like, Zerg's cat is pouring his face. It's pouring at his face, not not like pissing on his face or anything. So yeah, you can't. You can't. Oh, Lulu, you're too cute. You can't buy the DLC separately. So when the DLC releases, you can't say, right, well, I'm just going to buy the DLC. No. Because you can only get the DLC if you own the Season Pass. And the only way that you can own the Season Pass is to buy the Special Edition for $100. So you can't even individually buy the DLC. But no, Zerg, they're absolutely right. It's because they don't want to segregate the community.
Yeah, they mean well. They mean well with your wallets. They're looking after you with your wallets.
Sorry, it's gone. Andrew Wilson's fucking at it. Fucking twat's at it. He's had it away.
I thought I saw something move behind you.
I know. He's on my desk. He must have just slid it away in the last segment.
Yeah.
So that's all the amount of time I want to spend on Activision because they can just suck a big fat cock. Right. Jesus Christ, we're going to go over an hour. Fuck! I could end it here, but I need to talk. I need to talk about this last bit. I need to.
That's right.
We're going away from games.
Okay.
And we're going on to geek.
Geek. Yep.
Star Wars anthology films have been placed on hold until further notice.
Why?
Because of the there is. You had to give me.
Don't tell me about the last
three-letter Y word. Why? Let me tell you. Let me tell you why, Zerg. Right.
Grab a seat, and I will tell you a story.
There is currently a pitch on the internet to say that Solo isn't actually as big a flop as people think, and it's a profitable film.
Right.
It is hundreds of millions in the hole.
Yeah.
Right. Solo's worldwide taking today, as of yesterday. I checked it yesterday. If I check it today, people, it might have gone up by like a scooch. But as of yesterday, its worldwide box office 343 million. People are trying to use the rhetoric of, well, it costs 250 to make, it's 100 million in profit. And there was a big game site. I think it was Game Informer, if I'm incorrect, I do apologise. I think it was Game Informer that said that. Wrong! Solo cost 200 million to make. It also had an additional 200 million reshoot cost. And on top of that, it has all the marketing and advertising that goes along with it. And that, folks, comes usually to around about the budget of the movie. But let's just be a little bit generous and give it about 150 odd million budget for marketing and shit. And that's still coming to around 700, 250, 455, 600 odd million. It's about $250 million in the hole. And that's at generous. Maybe more. This is not a... This is a bomb. This is a legit bomb. It's a bomb not based off how much it's taken, because 343 million, sorry, in the grand scale of things could look quite pretty for some films, especially if they had a budget of 20 million, 50 million. Great. That's a great profit. But when you've spent 250 million on a film, plus 200 million on reshoots, plus 150 million, possibly 250 million, marketing, advertising, yada, yada, yada. Because that's how it works, folks. That's how it works. Look into it if you don't believe me. Then we're looking at, we're looking at 250, possibly 350 million in the hole for this film. This film lost loads of money. Also, The Last Jedi, of course, was so divisive, and that's profitable, but it's done nowhere near what was expected. Not even close. And the toy sales they just didn't sell in toys.
Yeah.
Nobody bought any of The Last Jedi toys. Nobody. They are, when I say, hyperbole, folks. But in the grand scale of toy sales, they are not down, they're non-existent. So the whole thing surrounding Last Jedi, I'm not ragging on The Last Jedi. I thought it's a terrible film. I'm just giving you some facts, people. That's all. So The Last Jedi made nothing close to what they expected it to make at all. Solo is negative. So the Boba Fett film, the Obi-Wan Kenobi film, all on hold now until further notice, while they reshape, regroup. Talk to me, dude, about Star Wars. What's going on? I mean, I would class myself as a Star Wars fan. I like Star. I've grown up, massive part of my childhood. The first three films they released, just I adore them. I absolutely adore them. Bought toys, went to see the prequels. Obviously, was very disappointed with the prequels, to say the least. So happy when Star Wars came back. Loved The Force Awakens. Apparently, I'm not allowed to, but fuck you, internet. I love The Force Awakens. I don't care if it's a soft, essentially a soft reboot. Don't care. It's great. I really like the characters. I really like the whole film. Bought shitloads of toys. Bought the Blu-ray. Seen it 5, 6, 7 times just on Blu-ray. Saw it twice at the cinema. I loved it. Rogue One came along. It wasn't my cup of tea. One of the things that I love about Star Wars and the franchise of Star Wars is it's light. It's light entertainment. Not, it is popcorn entertainment, but it has got some, it had some great themes, especially like, Empire Strikes Back and that. It has some great themes, and it has some wonderful writing and stuff like that. But at the same time, even when things are at their worst, there's hope.
Yeah.
There's always hope. Luke lost his hand, but he's still alive. Hand's been frozen in carbonite, but he's still alive. They can regroup. They can get it back together for Jedi. And then in Return of the Jedi, Luke's a badass and and all kinds of great stuff. Apart from the Ewoks. But anyway, But all kinds of. I tell you what, I'll take an Ewok any day over any of this shit that we've had recently. And so we get on to Rogue One, and it's number one. It was boring. Most of it was boring. Like the first half is just dull as dishwater. Characters that I couldn't give a shit about. Boring, right? Just generic writing. Just dull. Dingy universe, dark. I don't like my Star Wars dark. I like my Star Wars to have that levity, to have that little bit of light. I love the contrast between like the Luke and the Darth Vader scenes in Jedi, which are just like some of the best scenes you'll ever see in movies. And then, some of the silly, goofy, a little bit of goofy stuff. Not too goofy, not Jar Jar Binks goofy. But some of the lighter moments in it and stuff with, Chewbacca banging his head on something, or getting in Han's way, or getting in Leia's way, all the little things like that, which are actually quite funny and whatnot. But Rogue One was just like, oh my god, it was like Saving Private fucking Ryan in the Star Wars universe. And I did like get into it a little bit towards the end in terms of the fighting. When they started dying, I was just like, they're killing them all. They're gonna kill them all. They're just gonna do them all. You could tell because they were just getting picked off one by one. You're just like, they're all gone. Are the two main ones gonna survive? Oh, no, probably not. No, they closed the door. No, they're fucked as well. As soon as they close the door, it's all over for them. Type of business. And the Darth Vader scene at the end, it kind of went against what Darth Vader was about.
Yeah.
Because in A New Hope, when they catch up to the vessel and they just send the stormtroopers in, and then after the stormtroopers have done their muck and killed all the rebels, then Darth Vader comes in. It's because it's beneath him.
Yeah,
and then it's the end of Rogue One was just like him. Wow, it's like porn, and I get why people really like it, and I gotta say I do watch it. And there is a little bit of a tingle in the old gooch when I watch it, but at the same time it's just like that would actually just be a group of stormtroopers really, and Darth Vader would just come in afterwards because it's all beneath him.
Yeah,
it's too easy for him. I don't need to do this, but for a fan, the fan wants to see it. But the logic,
fan service, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's so fun. So it didn't work for me. I understand why people liked it. Didn't work for me personally, but I didn't hate it.
No,
I didn't hate it. I didn't leave Rogue One getting I hated it. I was just like, it just wasn't. It wasn't for me. I get what they're trying to do, but it wasn't for me. And don't worry, I'll let you speak in a sec. I do apologize. I just want to go through the anthology of films to date, and then you can respond how you felt. And then the Last Jedi came out, and I thought it was an abysmal film. I just thought it was abysmal. It didn't make sense. I thought the writing was diabolical. The characters were totally what happened to them. There were nothing like all the threads which JJ had spun. And yes, JJ didn't know where some of these were going to go, but he spun them for the continuation. They were just all killed off. All of them were just killed off. All the threads that JJ did. Rey's parents, Snoke, Kylo, like it's all killed off. All of them killed off. All the where to get the lightsaber from. Everything just shut all over by Rian Johnson. And I thought the film was diabolical. I did. I left the cinema and we were all like, "Did you like it?" It's like, yeah. We all liked it because you leave the cinema and you're all like, and then all we're doing is, yeah. I didn't like this bit though. I was a bit confused, and I didn't like this bit. And we're all of the consensus that Rose is absolutely fucking useless and terrible. And what was the whole point of Canto Blight? And then we're sort of like realizing that we're just talking. All that we're saying is like, didn't like. And then you sleep on it. And you have time to relax, and the adrenaline goes down because you're not in a natural environment when you're in a cinema with a bunch of fans because everyone's excited or everyone's got their
you feed off their energy.
Yeah,
don't you
feed off the energy and whatnot. So I'm waking up the next day and I was just like, I did not like that film.
Yeah.
I did not like that film one bit. And then the more you kind of like think about it, the kind of like more things you realize how they didn't make sense and they were totally dumb. So I actually went to see that, but I didn't like it. And I had no desire to see Solo. Not because of The Last Jedi, because I had no desire to see someone else playing the beautiful Harrison Ford character. Because to me, nobody can be Solo but Harrison Ford. Nobody. And so I had no interest in a solo standalone film from the start. I had no intentions of ever seeing it at the cinema from the start. Nothing to do with Kathleen Kennedy. Nothing to do with SJWs. Nothing to do with my opinion about The Last Jedi. Yes, I think it came out way too quick, 5 months later. Way too quick. But just no interest at all. Wouldn't have an interest in a Boba Fett movie. The guy said 3 fucking lines in the whole of Star Wars. Wouldn't have any interest in that. It'd probably be diabolical. Yeah, probably would have an interest in an Obi-Wan movie. Probably would. I think Ewan McGregor deserved better than the prequels because he's a good actor. He's a good actor and he's a cool fucking guy in real life.
I loved Obi-Wan.
I didn't. I thought his character was awful in the prequels. But Ewan McGregor isn't awful, and I think given the right script, given the right director, he could do proper justice to the character. I do. I genuinely do. And he's getting a bit, he's a bit older than he was then. So he's probably going to be a perfect age, and they could do the Darth Maul story, and I think that's what they were leading to with Solo, no spoilers, whatever. But I think that's where because the cartoons, if you follow the cartoons, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They probably would have done that. And I think it would have been pretty cool. Cool. But the thing that has disappointed me the most, I will promise to let you speak in a second. This is me, people. Don't have a go at Zerg for not contributing. This is me talking, all right? It's me just waffling. Yes, it's not him, it's me. The one thing that disappointed me greatly was there was a very divisive reaction to The Last Jedi, period. You can't deny that. Some people were defending it, but I do think the general consensus was it was a really poor film. And at very, very, very best for the film, 50-50. And I don't think it was anywhere close. But let's just say 50-50. What disappointed me greatly was the reaction from Disney and Lucasfilm, which was, if you didn't like this film, you're a misogynist. If you didn't like this film, you're a white supremacist. If you didn't like this film, you hate females. And they started putting out all this stupid rhetoric telling me what I was because I didn't like a very badly written script, a very poorly written film that made no sense and can be absolutely annihilated with just a moment's thought. I really hated the fact that they got very combative, confrontational combative, that they essentially were biting the hand that feeds them, that they were being dismissive and purposely aggressive and disrespectful to the community, which has kept them going for this amount of time. So that disappointed me the most. It wasn't like, if I was Lucasfilm, if I was Disney, and I was caught, if I was like cornered by a bunch of Star Wars fans, and they were just like, look, The Last Jedi sucked, it was terrible, I wouldn't turn around and go, well, you fucking hate women, you stupid fat fuck, you stupid misogynistic pig. I'd say, look, I'm really sorry you didn't like the movie. We tried something. We wanted to go down a different route with Star Wars. We didn't want to give you something the same. We tried to do something. I'm really sorry it didn't work out for you. I'm really disappointed that you didn't like the film. I obviously would have hoped that you liked the film. But just to let you know, we here love the franchise. We're wanting nothing but the best for the franchise, and we will try our utmost to make sure that the final film in this trilogy, will hopefully appeal to a much wider variety of Star Wars fan. That's what I would personally say. I wouldn't call them a white supremacist. I wouldn't call them a misogynist or a woman hater or stupid things like that which have been said. Pure, it's not the female actor's fault that they had a bad script. It's not the female actor's fault that they had a terrible story that made no sense. The blame, really, if there is to be a blame here, should be levied at the writer and the writer was Ryan Johnson, who also directed it. And he's been the biggest troll of them all, to be perfectly honest with you. So that is my position on this whole Star Wars debacle, and I just want to know from your perspective how things have kind of gone.
I wish I was as passionate about Star Wars as yourself and others. I love Star Wars, I do, but I also love Star Trek as well. I just love sci-fi in general.
Yeah.
I love sci-fi. It doesn't matter what form it's in, whether it's The Matrix, whether it's Star Trek, Star Wars, Firefly, Battlestar Galactica, the original Buck Rogers, all that.
Rogers, 21st Century, magnificent.
Yes.
Twinkie, nanu.
Yeah, I love Twinkie. So I just, as a kid, as a child,
there's somebody else I love in there as well.
I love sci-fi regardless. What draws me to Star Wars is the lightsaber battles and the space battles. I'm a huge sucker for space battles. One of the reasons why I was drawn into No Man's Sky, because I thought, fantastic space battles, things like that would be great. But I digress.
Yeah. I hear you.
Apart from that, I didn't particularly like.
Sorry, can I just stop you there for 1 second? You can tell when a game's failed miserably when it's a Sony PlayStation 4 exclusive, and now they're saying, "Let's get it on the Xbox," because that's where it's gone on the Xbox now.
Yeah. I didn't really enjoy Rogue One or Solo. I had no interest in seeing Solo. I got tricked into seeing that. I didn't enjoy them because there wasn't the you're sitting on my keyboard, Lulu. Come on, don't start typing numbers. Just see like 00011. Anyway, there was no Jedi or like big space battles from what I can remember from those. Anyway, they were mostly on the planets.
Well, on Rogue One, there was a huge space battle at the end, right at the end, when the Rebel Force came into the planet's not atmosphere, but when it came into near to the planet's atmosphere, and they had to engage the Empire while they transferred the code to the ship.
You are right, yeah. So memorable, I forgot it.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I really enjoyed the prequels with Obi-Wan and Anakin and things like that. I really did enjoy those. But apart from that, I really don't have much to sort of like add to it because I just don't follow them. All the stuff that you told me about what they were doing, calling people unmentionable and things like that. I had no idea about that.
You just have to just go online.
I think
Ryan Johnson he's a wind-up merchant.
Yeah, I
mean, he doesn't come across as a particularly nice guy, to be honest with you, because you've made a film, and a lot of people don't like your film, and they are angry. This is a fandom here. We are talking. It's not like he made a detective movie, and people didn't like his detective movie. There has to be an understanding, whether you agree or disagree with the philosophy. There still has to be an understanding that this is a franchise which has been going since 1977 for 41 years, and in that time, a lot of the people are like me, are my age now. They've grown up with the films. It's been part of their life since they're a child. Now they are an adult with disposable income, and they can do whatever they wanted, that they couldn't do with a kid when it comes to Star Wars. They do feel as if they have an investment in it. Rightly or wrongly, but you can understand why they feel they have an investment. I feel like I've kind of got an investment with Star Wars. Because
it's kind of... Sorry.
No, I was going to say, just because of how I grew up with it and how I played with the toys and all the great memories that I have as a kid surrounding that whole thing.
Yeah, going on to great memories. Do you feel it might have something to do with that as well? Because back then, when we were kids, our parents watched it and then they wanted to share that experience with us. So then we grew up with Star Wars, and now we're at the age where we potentially probably would have kids ourselves. We want to share what we enjoyed most about it back then with the younger generation. And because it doesn't sort of live up to our expectations, we think to ourselves, well, What's going on here?
But to me, The Force Awakens did live up to my expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought The Force Awakens was fantastic. Sure, it's been criticised as just a soft reboot of Star Wars. It's essentially following Star Wars beat for beat with the new list of characters and, a few tweaks here and there. But you know what? It worked.
Yeah.
It actually really worked for me. Too safe? What, it can be argued. All these things can be argued, yay or nay. And I can understand arguments both for and against. But the fact of the matter is, what they got with The Force Awakens was the essence of Star Wars. That's what they captured.
Yeah.
And that was a brilliant thing. And look, I cried watching the trailer. It sounds pathetic. It probably is pathetic, especially for a guy of my age. But there was so much that felt right about the trailer for The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
That it probably awoke all those wonderful feelings that I had as a kid watching the films, all the wonderful times that I had playing with the toys. It played on that, whether it's a nostalgia trip, maybe, but it hit all the right buttons. It hit them absolutely perfectly, and I remember watching the trailer. I don't think, honestly, this is going to be the most pathetic thing I ever say in my life. I don't think I've been able to watch the first trailer for The Force Awakens without tearing up. I really don't. I really, really don't. Because there was just so much for me that I was happy about. Especially after my personal massive disappointment with the prequels. It genuinely felt like we were back in a Star Wars universe. And then Rogue One took me out of a Star Wars universe and put me into a Saving Private Ryan universe. And then The Last Jedi took me out of the Star Wars universe and it took me into this is probably the worst fanfic crap. Well, it was just terrible. It just didn't. I mean, I'm gonna do a video. I've got to do a video with my friend Grant because my friend Grant really liked The Last Jedi, and I've got to do a video with him because Grant and I can talk to each other like we're talking to other, like normal human beings. And he can tell me his positives, and he can have a go at my negatives, and we'd probably have a very interesting video. But I just don't understand why people would like The Last Jedi. Is my major thing, because it didn't make a lick of sense if you break it down. And so I for me the vast disappointment is it didn't feel like a Star Wars film. It completely undid everything of the previous Star Wars film in a very negative way, because it didn't just kill the threads, it killed them off really disappointingly. So it's not as if they resolved Rey's parents in The Last Jedi, but it was really clever how they did it. It was just like, there's this big thing about Rey's parents, which, you know what, fuck them. Parents were nobody. They were traders. They were nobody. It was like a big middle finger. Oh, you think she could be Obi-Wan's daughter? You think she could be Palpatine's daughter? Or granddaughter or whatever, And it's just a massive, massive middle finger. Oh, you thought Snoke was going to be like Darth Sidious? It's just everything was just like in your face. It was just like that. It was just like every kind of like, oh, you want to know about the lightsaber? Oh yeah, well fuck you. I'm going to throw it behind me. All the things which have been the questions which have been circulating for 2 years that people wanted a payoff, whether or not the payoff was going to be of it. What if Rey turned out to be Luke's daughter, for argument's sake? What if she did turn out to be Luke's daughter? Some people would be like, well, he said so, and other people, but they would still be like, still cool.
Yeah.
Still fucking cool. Or if it turned out to be Palpatine's granddaughter, for instance, or whatever.
Twist!
That's a fan theory. There's a fan theory about Obi-Wan, there's a fan theory about Palpatine, there's a fan theory about Luke. So, either one of those, I think people would have been happy with, even though it's an ongoing fan thing. I don't think what they would be happy with is if somebody turned around and go, oh no, she was traders. She's the daughter of traders. Oh. Oh. Right. So is Kylo going to go to the light? Yeah, he's in light side now. No, he's dark side now. Ah!
Tricked ya!
And it was just, you know, so many... Oh, Snoke, Darth Sidious. Oh, no, we cut him in half. He's dead now. He's been in for 5 minutes and we killed him. It's just like, you know, it just kind of like pissed on everything.
I'm going to need to rewatch it and come back to have another conversation with you about this, because I've only seen it once, but you are bringing up stuff that I never thought of myself, if I'm honest. I mean,
I've seen it once and I never want to see it again. And yeah. I don't mean that to be a dick. I don't.
Yeah.
I've no interest in seeing The Last Jedi again. It's out on Blu-ray. As soon as The Force Awakens came out on Blu-ray, bought it. Bought it immediately.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it. I wanted to support the franchise. And I wanted to have it so I could watch it at my leisure. Last Jedi, haven't bought a single toy. I'm a man-child. I'm a man-child and I haven't bought a single toy.
You know something's wrong there.
Yeah, but do you know something? That is the big alarm bell for the money. Because if there are millions of people like me with the same idea, I'm a man-child. I have disposable income. I haven't purchased a single solitary toy. You know? Whereas I've got like 2 boxes full of. Look, I even bought Rogue One toys, the figures. I even got the Rogue One figures. Even though I wasn't a huge fan of Rogue One, you know, I still liked the look of the film.
Yeah. It's still a franchise you wanted to support, really.
Well, yes, you know, it's just it didn't hit the mark for me, but it wasn't, like I said, there's a lot of people that really like it. There's a segment, I wouldn't say who hate it, but I said there's a segment who it didn't resonate with. Yeah. And I'd say I'm part of the didn't resonate with segment. But, you know, like I said, the film wasn't all bad. When it picked up, when they got to the planet and the plot kicked in to get the code, I did think it got pretty suspenseful then. And because they all started to get fucking killed off, it was just like, oh my God, you know. And that was a bit shocking. I mean, I can't say that I was a massive fan of the PTSD that I got afterwards, but, you know, that was something a little bit braver to do, was to kill the whole cast. That was brave. But Last Jedi, no. Zero toys purchased. Didn't purchase the Blu-ray. No desire to see it again. I don't even want to pirate it. You know?
It says a lot, then, doesn't it?
No,
really?
But you know what I mean. I don't pirate stuff as a rule. But yeah. But I'm just saying, it's kind of like that bad. I wouldn't even get it for free. I've got that. You know, it's not like, well, don't worry. I'd watch it, but I don't want to spend any money watching it. It's like I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it again. I've got no interest in watching it again, and that's the big thing for me.
That's totally fair. I mean, I'm a slow dude, so it usually takes me to watch a film about 2 or 3 times to pick up on everything, so for me to absorb it all, because I miss a lot. So the stuff that you're mentioning, I just completely missed.
Well, these things to me were just kind of like obvious. Well, I mean, I was somebody who was interested in Rey's parenthood. I was invested. I wanted to know who Rey's parents were. I was somebody who was invested in who is Snoke. Is Snoke Darth Sidious? Is this the Sith who trained the Emperor and the Emperor thought he killed, but he didn't. He actually survived because of all of his scars and everything. It looked like he'd survived something horrific. So was he Darth Sidious? You know, is this going to be a Ben Solo redemption story? You know, a la Star Wars, but hell, who gives a shit? Because this, you know, the fact that he's Han and Leia's son, I think, makes him a more poignant character for us because we love Han and Leia. You know, so there was that investment. Who, you know, so I did have a lot of investment into wanting to see where the story was going to go. I was aware that this is the second in a trilogy, and so there was the possibility that our questions wouldn't be answered, but I was okay to kind of see it through to the 3rd film. But the way that they were just so dismissed by Rian Johnson and just completely, just completely kind of like shat on disrespectfully. It's not as if he tried to do something clever with Rey's parentage. It's not as if he tries to do something clever with the lightsaber as to how it came into the possession of fucking Google-eyed fuckface.
Jar Eyes.
Yeah. What was that? Her appearance in The Last Jedi was embarrassing.
It's like Jam Jar Eyes.
Embarrassing. Well, there again, Canto Blight was embarrassing. You know, but they were just dismissed with such like, fuck you, fanboy. Fuck you, fanboy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what got people. If he paid it off differently to how we expected, I probably wouldn't have an issue with it. If Rey's parentage was dealt with in a different way, I wouldn't have an issue. Maybe you know, but if he dealt with it in a cleverer way instead of just again dismissing it, just dismissing all the questions, dismissing all the threads, and at the end of The Last Jedi, and this is the thing which is the biggest gripe for me. At the end of The Last Jedi, I couldn't give a shit where the next film goes. I've now lost interest in this trilogy because he put almost such a false. There are like how many? 20 rebels left. That is it. Out of all this force which we've seen over films, big ships, little ships, X-wings, Y-wing, B-wings, bombers, all there's 20 fucking people left. And the First Order is massive and blowing up planets. And you're telling me from 20 people they fight their way back with one Jedi. It's just like, no, you've just put a big fucking full stop at the end. And JJ has, and I've been a bit annoyed with JJ saying, that, you know, if you don't like this, you don't like women. JJ, come on. You're better than that. I mean, admittedly, he probably had a big bag of cash put in front of him and was told to say so. Because you just have to look at... I love Mark Hamill. This is not a go at Mark Hamill. But Mark Hamill was very critical of the film and Rian Johnson and Luke Skywalker's character in the film. Because it is Luke... That isn't Luke Skywalker. I don't know who the fuck that is, but that's not Luke Skywalker. And then suddenly he's all like, oh no, I respect what he said. And da-da-da. And, you know, he probably had the old pressure from Disney and maybe a big bag of cash put on his desk and said, look, Mark, can you play a bit of fucking ball with us here, please? Here's a big bag of cash. You know, and I don't bemoan Mark Hamill doing that. He's a lovely person, and if he has to turn around and go, well, you know, Rian Johnson's all right, whatever. You know, okay, you know, I'll forgive you. but yeah, the film was just going nowhere for me, and I've got now no interest. I was so excited for the second film after The Force Awakens, and now I couldn't possibly give a shit. And I think that is and again, if I am indicative of a typical Star Wars fan, that is not a good situation for the franchise to be in. Yeah. Because then you do get the backlash. You do, and I'm not running around shouting about SJWs and, you know, feminist agendas and shit like that. Jesus Christ, there's YouTube channels spouting up where that's all they're doing. Just hatred.
It's just, there's too much hate in the world. Come on, guys. Can we just sort of sit down and have a cup of tea and just enjoy ourselves? Just, you know.
But, you know, you've got to get out your system. But, you know, set up a channel just to constantly make videos about, you know, feminist agendas and shit. Oh, fuck off. You're part of the problem. Fuck off. But, yeah, if I'm just a typical Star Wars fan who doesn't run around, you know, who isn't a misogynist. I'm not a misogynist. I'm not a sexist. I'm not a racist. I don't hate women. I'm not a bigot. I'm nothing like, you know, I'm not like this at all. I'm just a person who loves Star Wars, who is really disappointed with the last film. Very disappointed in the writing, in the characters, in the story. That's what's upset me. You know, nothing more, nothing less.
It's upsetting to hear someone like yourself being so passionate about a franchise and being let down so much. It's really upsetting. I want to give you a hug, man.
but like I said, right? This is I think I am not atypical. You know, I don't think I am untypical of a Star Wars fan. I think there's a lot of Star Wars fans that feel the same way that I do.
Yeah.
And again, if Disney had just kind of said, look, we're really sorry that you didn't like this film. We hoped that you would. We thought we did, like I said, we actually did do our best, or whatever. Whatever the spin they want to put on it in that regard. They're not going to turn up and go, well, actually, you're right. We put out a big pile of fucking shit. They're never going to say that. But if they said, look, we tried to do something. We really hope that you're going to like it. We're really disappointed that you didn't like it. We like I said, we love the franchise here, and we want nothing more than to make you guys and girls happy. So believe me, we'll be doubling down on the next film in this series. We really will, because we are determined to make the film that you'd love. I'd be like, oh,
fair enough.
That's lovely.
Yeah,
but no, they say, oh, well, you just hate women. You hate women.
No,
you're misogynist.
They need to get people back on. They need to get people's confidence back that they can create the Star Wars film that everyone's looking for.
Well, this is why the anthology is on hold, because
that is
clearly the hierarchy. It's been determined they're not up to the task. And after the complete abysmal flop of Solo, which people are trying to spin into a profitable... Are you that stupid? You think with that... Whatever. Again, it goes on to trying to treat people like idiots again. You only have to do 2 minutes of research to discover how filming actually works. To understand this. But, so Star Wars Anthology... Sorry, this is... Don't have a go at Zerg! I have talked a lot today. 1 hour and 30 minutes. Fuck my ass.
I'll pass, thank you.
We're not gonna go over an hour today. I'm going to control it.
See how much control he's got.
I fucked up. I fucked up because I couldn't stop talking because I had a lot to say today. I'm sorry. So sorry, Zerg. I'd like to apologise to you.
No, it's fine.
Because I've opened my mouth a lot today because I've had a lot to say, so I do apologise.
No, don't need to apologise.
Yeah, Star Wars anthology films on hold. I think personally it's the right decision. I think they need to have a serious rethink. I also personally think maybe delay episode 9 by a year. Take it out of 2019, put it into 2020. Really think about where you're going to go with it. What you're going to do with the characters. I'd probably make some... I don't even think they're tough decisions. I don't put Rose in the next film. I mean, I'm absolutely positive they will, as a fuck you again to people who have been critical of Rose. She's, honest to God, she's a Jar Jar Binks-esque character in... She's not Jar Jar Binks, but she's a Jar Jar Binks-esque character, she's not a good character for the film.
Yeah.
She's not a good character for the franchise. That's got nothing to do with Kelly Marie Tran. Sure, she's lovely, and if she's a massive cunt, whatever. But it's got nothing to do with the actress as a rule. It's got everything to do with the character and the writing of the character. Remove her, but they won't. They'll put her in as a fuck you, like I said, because that's all they want. They just want to completely fuck off all the fans.
Should be a senator at some point, so don't worry about it.
I'll be fine. She turns up at the end for 2 minutes going, yay!
Yeah.
Don't even get me started, because I didn't even go into the whole love thing with Finn.
Don't, just stop. All
right, yeah. I'll leave that for the chat I have with Grant. But yeah, maybe delay it a year. A year. Really, really think about this. Try and get people who aren't going to treat their fans with contempt. That would really help as well. Try and get a little bit humble, because these are the people who are ultimately paying for the franchise to exist at the end of the day. And look what happens when they don't. You get a film 250 million in the hole, like Solo. And I think a lot of that has got to do with The Last Jedi. People not interested in seeing Solo as a whole. So stop oversaturating the franchise. You're killing it by oversaturation. This isn't the Marvel Universe. This is Star Wars.
It's not Assassin's Creed.
Try and keep it a little bit more simple, because ultimately Star Wars is a very simple franchise. It's good versus evil. It's knights and princesses and kick-ass people. I'm not genderizing. You could be a fucking male princess for all I care. You know, but I'm just saying they're very, very simple. I am a male princess. I feel pretty. You know, it's a very simple franchise. Keep it simple. Stop trying to do things with it that it's not designed for. Also, don't take beloved characters and put really bad actors in the role of them and try and palm it off as them. Don't work. It doesn't fucking work.
And breathe.
So, do you want to say something, Zerg? Just say hi or something.
Do you know what? Hold on a second. Hold that thought.
He's gone. I've driven him off. I've driven him off from the podcast with my Star Wars run. Look, people, I had a lot to say about it. I haven't done a video on The Last Jedi. I haven't done a video on the problems with Star Wars. It all came out here. Pikachu.
Probably has more to say than what I do. See?
Actually, Zerg makes a lot more sense. And on that note,
yep.
AZCast 8 comes to an end. Thank you, Zerg, for listening to my rants today. But seriously, though, dude, thank you very much indeed. I thought we had a good chat as regards to the gaming disorder stuff. A lot to be said about that, and then I kind of just went into a big fucking shitfest. But as AZCast episode 8 comes to an end, say goodbye, Zerg.
Goodbye, Zerg.
And I'm your host, Az, and we'll see you next week. Until then, you take care. Bye for now.